Hello, hello! Welcome back into the North American Challengers League. I'm Mad Magical, joined in by a final time, well, at least for a final series, with Mazel and
Final time,
Beatdown.
you can take me out back and what?
Oh yeah. I mean, Lennon,
time.
I didn't want you to find out like this, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna just go lock my door.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it here. Either way, we still have
Okay,
one
I'm
more
safe.
series of the day. FLYF versus Golden Guardians Challengers. FLYF, unfortunately, sitting at the bottom of the standings right now, right alongside CLG Faith. While Golden Guardians Challengers, a team that we have seen start to resurge as well, kind of like the evil geniuses that we had at the beginning of the day. Unfortunately, they fell short of getting that nice power grab up through the standings.
right. And we look at this series. I mean, looking at FlyQuest for one thing, FlyFam here. We've seen a couple roster changes come through, right? Jungler swaps and things like that. So it's been taking time for them to really get solidified. This is a team where when we look at our provisional teams who are struggling, they have had some pretty decent early game plans. And they have, the biggest bright spot on the team for us is Lunacia, who's been a surprise, being a player we've seen very little competitive play from because he's had very little competitive experience.
I think that's the most interesting part is like we have seen him kind of come into his own. I know I got to talk to him a little bit and like where he came from, and he is just one of those kids that got to play at a little bit younger age, right? Supported by the family and able to kind of try to make this an instinct, or I know his teammate instinct, but try to make this instinctual play for making something happen with a semi-pro career. And I think now that we're seeing Hyper for another week, a little bit more stability coming out of the jungle potentially, I think we might get a different look from FlyFam this time around.
That's at least what you hope for, right? Especially when it comes to these provisional teams. We do have to hold them to a different measure than we hold a lot of other teams. And this is what we'll constantly talk about when we talk about teams like FlyFam, like CLG Faith, is that these aren't teams that we're expecting to get wins, right? We're looking at how they grow, how they bring in these players, like they bring in Hyper from a Supernova, and how they fit in with the rest of the team so they can look better. Their early game, something we were praising just a little bit ago, Beat.
And something too to keep in mind is that we've been saying it, we've been kind of building it up as we're getting closer and closer to playoffs. Every team makes it to playoffs. Your regular season standing is, while important for seeding, does not determine whether or not you as a provisional team get relegated. So that's kind of the story here for the struggling teams like FlyFam and CLG Faith, where you focus on development, which I mean, again, the purpose of the roster, but you focus on getting as good as you can so that even if you go to the tournament, because I mean, Wildcard and Fear are the ones who are likely going to avoid it, that you can win your matches and avoid being relegated. That's the story here, especially with Hyper having time to play on the team.
And then we have different stories when we look at our Challengers teams, right? We look at Golden Guardians Challengers, their opponents for today, a team that has been starting to slowly climb their way up in the standings. And we expect that when you go up against one of these provisional teams, how clean can they look? How dominant of a performance can they have, especially when we look at their bot lane like Array and Prismal, how they play together, Young as well, really starting to play out of his mind.
I think that's the biggest key here as well for Golden Guardians is like we have seen a lot of resources delved from Hostorn down towards Array and Prismal who have been coming into their own right, but you always have that second thought of, is Young just going to hyper carry this game right now? And I think we've seen that on occasion. We've seen that from a very aggressive picks from Young, but I'm particularly looking at Rosethorn in early pathings to find those advantages for the team.
I'm also...
Go ahead.
You go. I'd rather you go, Beat.
I was gonna say, like, Rosethorn has been looking good. Concept in tank meta is, you love to see it. Very prominent tank player. And the real power here is that mid and bot side, because you said it. Array and Prismal did not get that fair, especially Array, did not get that fair shake last year when there was roster issues on this roster in particular. Now, another year in the Challengers League, more time to develop with a consistent support duo, and I mean, they're looking great.
Well, and you have to compare that against FlyFam, right? Looking at Instinct, looking at Sword in the spot lane, and how they really measure up against them, correct? It's difficult when you have these lanes that tend to do well, but then it just comes together in the team fights, the mid games, that they struggle.
And for me as well, you do have to pull a little bit of that, veterancy from this bot lane for FlyFam, where you do have a lot of pieces to the puzzle that need to come together. Obviously, Blaze still finding his footing. Lunacia, we already talked about, but it was about trying to find a little bit of that connection and find some of that carry potential from FlyFam as well.
especially because for FlyFam, like, you talk about veterancy in the bot lane. Well, Instinct and Zord are still very young players. It's not like they're that old. Instinct just got a chance to play on TSM LCS team last year. So he's still an 18-year-old player playing here on a professional team.
Based on the other members.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, you're putting a lot on the veterancy of this player, but he's still a very young player at that.
Yeah, so the thing is, it's relative, is what I think you're going for there, Magical. And that's an interesting thing, too, because we talk about Prismal, who's also had LCS time, and kind of comparing how these guys have been going so far. And so far on FlyFam, it's been a little tough there for Instinct and the team overall, but hopefully things improve on their end. But for Prismal, things have been looking great. We talk about how Array and Prismal are one of the better bot lanes we have in this league, and they have been looking so good as of late. And Prismal is contributing no small part to that.
Especially when you look at the clips, right?
Yeah. It's the pieces in the team fights as well, where you see Rosethorn coming up clutch in moments like this, but it's also afterwards where you're seeing the kind of all-in potential here from Golden Guardians when they're communicating correctly. And it's not only in the big team fights where you see something like this, they split apart the fight, they do so well, but it's also the early moves from Prismal. It's also these moves in these kind of first 10 minutes from them.
Yeah, and Prismal, I think there's a reason why we also look at Prismal as being kind of the veteran player, though he is still young, kind of like how we look at Instinct, is because he is this rule swap, this player who has been around in the academy scene for quite some time. Even if you kind of look at him now in a new rule, he's still the guy who knows how to lead the charge. His shot calling is really on point, and when it comes to Golden Guardians challengers, it really is going to be off the back of how Array and Prismal lead the charge for the rest of the team to get a clean victory.
I just really want a recording of Prisma. Charge! Just charge against the screen.
I'd like to see that as well, but I do hear that we are ready for our final, well, not final, we have 2 more games, but it's our final series. So why don't we jump into Champion Select, start delving into how these 2 teams are going to unfold against one another. FlyFam right now leading the charge in the fan votes in Twitch chat. Remember, you can spam either FLYF or GGC, depending on which team you want to or you think is going to win.
Now, I obviously a little bit of the Fly fandom maybe trying to come out here. I thought we were going to bring Magical in for this one, but we do want to look at some early priorities, at least in these picks and bans, especially the first phase, as we are looking at FlyQuest fam on that blue side. There he is. He's back. And we're looking on this blue side pickup for FlyFam and trying to find what they're kind of focusing on. Immediately, Concept Scion off the table.
Right, just removing those very comfortable tank matchups. And I mean, the fact is, it's crazy good, right? It's crazy common right now, crazy good. It makes sense. Just get it out of here.
Common and good.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm curious to see if what Golden Guardians are looking to take away early on. When facing FlyFam, a lot of teams will immediately just look to take away the Renekton. That's been a really strong pick for Lunacia, and where he's gotten a lot of his solo kills, because again, dude's been kind of popping off in lane.
I mean, a lot of these bruisers, right? Even looking at his Jack, something that's been really strong as well. It's pretty much anytime he gets power that he can be put on a side lane.
The Jax has to get taken off.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Though it's still early on into the draft right now, and we have a lot of powerful picks still left open for both teams. And even if you look at a lot of these teams and kind of look at a team like FlyFam, you're like, pick more comfort, try to see what you can get for your players that will make them happier in lane as opposed to just getting what's strong in meta. You still want to take things away such as Sejuani and Maokai.
Looks like we had a little bit of an error or something. We'll maybe get an update from production on what that last ban was. It is the first pick, though, for Hyper, and playing into the comfort of Hyper on those aggressive style carry champions that we've seen him really pop off on, obviously bringing to light like the Lee Sin, things like that. Speaking of, Hyper doesn't get to play as Lee Sin because that's what the last ban was, but Golden Guardians sticking straight to meta and pick up the Maokai and the Zeri.
It has been working for them so far. I don't see why there's anything, a need for Golden Guardians to change it. On FlyFam's side, Hyper is a player who we know has pretty good mechanics and has spent time at this level of play before, previously for TSM Academy. It was a while ago now. He has another opportunity to play at this level with the champ like Elise and use that aggression that he likes to run with.
I like the Zyricon here, though, Magical. I know it's not anything too crazy spicy, but into the Zeri Lulu, it's a nice little combo.
It's also something that can give safety for the spot lane. I feel like Instinct and Sword have been attacked a lot by a lot of teams trying to find weak points of FlyFam early into the game, since Lunacia is someone that we were praising before, which is, there's that Jax fan that we were just talking about and praising. Not too surprised to see that. That's why you have a safe bot lane into something that can be a little bit more volatile, such as Zeri Lulu.
Now, I do wonder. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we're seeing the solo leaders banned. I think either that's a hover for that last ban for Golden Guardians, or we have another no ban.
Yeah, it hasn't been locked in.
Oh, okay. So overall,
so we got the Olaf at least, and a lot of focus towards his top side. But the last second ban, though, is that Victor for Golden Guardians. So trying to take away something maybe a little bit more stable for Blaze in the mid lane.
and limiting his options here. With the AP jungler, I'm wondering if we see Blaze bring out the Yone. I mean, it showed in some of the clips. It's something he's been playing competitively for more than a year now, and it's something he's pretty proficient on. I think that would actually be a pretty strong mid-jungle duo there for FlyFam, and allow them to be able to
young
get the ball
Zarellia
rolling. And oh yeah, that's some respect.
So I was about to say, both of these mid laners do like to play more of these melee styles, so it's actually kind of fun to see that the Aurelia was taken away. Yone is something still on the table. The Renekton, I know you're about to take away from Lunacia.
Well, not that. So I was talking with a player in the downtime this week, and we were talking a little bit about Aurelia players, and Young was the first thing that come to mind as best Aurelia player in the league. So love to see it as well, being respected by FlyFam. Love to see that Renekton, though, like you talked about, that priority and top side, the setup they have. It will be the Tristana with that flex mid potentially here for FlyFam.
Right, and I like it because it's that AD option that I was kind of alluding to when I was talking about the Yone for Blaze. It's honestly really good at the moment. So you have that range. It gives you that prio. It should allow Hyper to be able to move around the map and have more of that impact there. It's just, what is this last pick going to be? Oh, I like Gragas. I do.
Let's go.
Okay.
Are you not entertained?
Is this not why you're here?
The Gragas top.
I'll be honest, it's not even that. It's more just Lunacia and how he's been playing a lot lately. It's not really the style that we've come to know him as. But, ooh.
You do get the young Zoe.
Very fun. Plays this champ a good bit, especially last year. He's playing on Immortals. AoE, I believe it was. And he's just been looking good overall. What's up, Magic?
How would you two evaluate the drafts we have so far? Just if we took away the nameplates, we look at both teams.
Just covering the nameplates real quick, don't mind me.
I actually don't mind FlyFam's draft. Even if I'm not the biggest fan of the Gragas, I actually think that this is a very solid draft when it comes to how they want to play around the early game.
So I'm just going to tell you, bar of execution for FlyQuest.
I thought you were covering the nameplates too. I'm sad.
No, I'm not. Bar of execution for Golden Guardians. A little bit down here. Now, which one's easier to hit?
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me. But I definitely like some of that forward aggression from FlyFam. I think they will struggle in the later parts of the game, though.
If you take out nameplates, I like FlyFam's draft because you have a lot of gank assist, top, bot, and you have a lot of lanes that you can play for. The thing I like about Gragas, and this is my attempt to like sell you on it, is that he's a champion, especially if you go the tank build, really good at neutralizing lanes. It's not what we're used to seeing from Lunacia, but remember, no nameplates. And it's good because you have enough damage all across the map and setup that Lunacia is here to break up these fights. Go all in so that you can lock down someone like Array with that body slam, exploding cask, and help so you can take the Zeri out of these team fights. It offers a lot of utility and damage if he wants to go AP.
Well, we did have to bid adieu to Mr. Magical as we did hit the rift here. But thank you for your insight. I hope he got sold. We'll see if he did. But if you want to be sold on one of these teams, go ahead and put in the chat which one you think is going to take this win. It's FlyF for FlyFam and GGC for Golden Guardians Challengers. As we come into it now, we've obviously had a lot of hard-hitting matchups today. It's been a lot of fun. We've had some very tight tussles.
Yeah.
This time around, it is looking at a little bit of what can be for both these two teams.
Right. And what can happen so far is Concept. I'm wondering if he actually... Oh, he doesn't. Because I like when top laners will actually walk up and interfere with the jungler's first buff clear, waste their time and things like that, but Concept's not going to do it. But overall, you can see a lot of vision coming through from Golden Guardians to ensure you know where this Elise is. Because realistically, you need this Elise, very strong early, a lot of playmaking potential, so you want to have that inkling of where she's going to be at every point.
And I think that's super important for Rosethorn, who will be much more in terms of a response to Hyper's aggression. I think you can obviously find a lot of strength, especially with Rosethorn's pathing that we've seen from him early on with the Maokai, but I expect him to definitely be in much more of a backseat kind of reactive role, maybe playing around Young, around Concept, where they have a lot of that safety and stability on bottom side with Array and Prismal.
Hey, we got a tweet, Lennon. New week, new chance for victory. We're facing off against FlyFam today to kick off week 6 of NACL. Hashtag GG win.
Gotta love it is pretty poggers. And I think for them or Golden Guardians, really nice to see a little bit of that support, but also the potential for a run. They have a long weekend themselves here this week. It'll be 3 games back-to-back, starting off against FlyFam here, EGC next, and then Dignitas at the end of the week. Definitely wanting to start off on the right foot for Golden Guardians.
That's right. And the FlyFam looking to pick their second win after a very difficult spring split. Again, signs of life have shown themselves in a lot
Hyper
of
gets
series.
another week.
Hyper does get another week, and that is something to be interested in, to see what he's going to look like. Last week, very little practice time. Now, week of scrims, we've seen what that has done for other new members across Challengers League, and now we got to see if that was enough for Hyper to be able to have more of an impact here.
See the mid lane trading back and forth between Blaze and Young. Obviously a pretty pivotal matchup, especially trying to get early advantages either side here, but I love this move from Sword, already trying to connect with Hyper. The biggest thing, though, is when we talk about this bot lane and maybe a little bit of that late game kind of show up to both of them, but you're off of dueling fates a little bit when you're looking across from Instinct and Prismal, and both of their own rights having very different stories, but having had some of that LCS experience, Young having had some of that LCS experience, and really trying to bring that to the table in a late season push.
And it's
or a horse derby if you're part of that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I got to talk to Instinct sometime last week for an interview, and just learning that he is actually the big voice on this team, which, I mean, part of it is from that experience we talked about in LCS, but being the most vocal member as an AD carry, that's pretty hard. Trying to be like that leader for the team there, so a lot of pressure on this player. Experience or no, that is a lot to expect from him.
It is indeed. We'll see if maybe a little bit of that TSM flavor helps out the connection and maybe some of the carry potential between Hyper and Instinct. Now we look at next moves. The Sword coming back down bottom lane. We have an early dragon, maybe started up by that aggressive side of FlyFam, but I think I see Rosethorn pathing down this way. It could be there to contest.
Right, so far, you're okay with not picking up these early dragons as Golden Guardians. The big thing here is Rosethorn when he gets to level 6. Because when he gets to level 6, has that Nature's Grasp, that's when he will have a lot of impact around these skirmishes, and I'm expecting it to be that Rift Herald, where the first big fight comes through here for both of these teams. As things have been really slow, you see roams just to ensure that freezes don't happen, that freezes do happen. You know, it depends on your perspective.
But that is exactly what we wanted, first and foremost from Prismal, but also Sword using some of that skill from the bottom side to affect the rest of the map, connect with the junglers, and it's something we've seen kind of be that staple for Golden Guardians, is getting Prismal on an early roam or getting focused with Rosethorn connecting to this bot lane as the Sleepy Trouble bubble is blocked, or at least the damage afterwards blocked by Sword.
Really nice. You spent a lot of time here ensuring that this play goes well, but you said it, Lennon. This matchup in mid is very pivotal, and Blaze so far getting the advantage over Young is so crucial, especially because you look, neither one of these laners actually took teleport, so back timings very important so far, and Young forced to back at a bit of an awkward time.
Yeah, there's a lot of CS differential now, almost 20 there for Blaze on the Tristana. You're gonna have to deal with the double ADC comp coming through as well for FlyFam. Now the engage Array with the quick beat. He's out of there.
Calm, cool, and collected. Knows he doesn't have to use a single summoner spell. Just walks away or skates away from that one. And it is Sword's Flash as a result. But this is part of what we like about FlyFam. Despite their struggles, they're trying stuff all the time, Lennon. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that effort, that improvement is what we love to see here in Challengers League.
So you see a little bit of duality here. Rosethorn hovering this bottom side while the Blade Caller does come through. Hyper was hovering mid. He eats a sapling. He has to use the repel to try to get away, as Young just puts down that ignite, trying to get some preemptive damage down.
Oh, Blaze.
That's a Battlestar. Oh my gosh. They're going to go in though,
in.
Blaze. He has Sword coming with Instinct. They are on the first move. Hyper, he's getting engaged on by Rosethorn, but Rosethorn, he's all by himself. Now you got the rest of the team finally here. The Featherstorm has been used. A beautiful flash from Instinct. Pulling that killer Instinct from his own name. And Array will make it out, but first blood to FLYF.
Rosethorn biting off more than he can chew, and now Young, oh hey. You gotta be real careful about that one there, but an early skirmish going the way of FLYF, and health bars too low to go for that first dragon, but this is a big win for them, being able to pick up gold, especially on Blaze, on this Tristana, who has that 1v9 potential here in this game.
He does indeed, and I think you gotta be careful, especially when you're getting a little bit of crazy draft coming in, as you don't let it slip away from you. But the lockdown, the potential there to burst out to Blaze or Instinct is there. Obviously, Instinct having a little bit more safety in that regard. But I'm looking at the team fight setups, especially for Golden Guardians to be their main stake here, at least, because obviously the Sleepy Trouble bubbles from Young will be gigantic in a lot of the setups, but they have a lot of that spacing that you want when you're taking into these kinds of matchups, and a lot of tools to lock down the double ADC comp.
The long-range tools are important. Like you said, the Sleepy Trouble Bubbles, also the Nature's Grasp from Rosethorn, who just ticked over to level 6, by the way, is what I'm looking for Golden Guardians. And for FLYF, I mean, you have Hyper, you have Sword, big engage tools, a lot of CC between them, and you have Lunacia, who has been doing a pretty solid job absorbing pressure on this top side. Concept, of course, naturally will have a CS lead in this matchup, but your ability to impact team fights as Lunacia is so important here. Breaking up those engagements that we're highlighting from Golden Guardians with that exploding cask. So we see him in a lot of lane-dominant matchups, and he finds leads, but now this is that opportunity for this newer player to help out in the more team fight way.
It is indeed. We see movement from FLYF bottom side. The alarm bells have been rung from Golden Guardians, so Array and Prismal will not be caught up in that. No early dragon as we're about to get to 10 minutes, but that will be 2 plates to Instinct bottom side. So Array wants to try to actually steal this away. Can't do it.
Wow, Instinct might get a 3rd plate too. So that's okay. He's going to walk away, but that's a lot of gold earned there. And that's a really nice heads-up call from FLYF. Oh, wait a minute.
I think Rosethorn smelled something. He's like, wait, there, we're missing bot lane, aren't they? Realizes there's something here. They throw a sapling out. So we get the sapling versus spider debate yet again. But it's Scuttlecrab going to FLYF.
Right, and FLYF, I mean, this is what we usually see from them. Not a bad start to this game. I like that call to just all in on the bottom side so Instinct can pick up turret plates and keep the advantage that he has in this bottom lane. A kill, CS, all going good. And between him and Blaze, they both have a good amount of a gold lead going in their favor. And that's going to be really important because in these double 80 carry comps, funny story, the damage comes from the 80 carries. And the fact that they are finding these advantages early is very important. We just need to see execution, Lennon. The decisiveness that we talk about from Cincinnati Fear, I need a little bit of that for FLYF.
Definitely do, as we see the side lane still going down in the way it does, trading kind of those lane priorities there. You do actually see maybe Instinct on a move as at a 3v3 of Bruin Prismal. Yep. Just gonna pull that flash just in case.
Oh yeah, he doesn't flash, he dies. And that means that things just slow back down. You see the recall coming through from Rosethorn. Gives that opening for FLYF to just not only set up vision here, but they're going to go ahead and start up this next dragon. So that's going to be an early objective in their favor.
Nice little turn of the head here. With the plates also going down in mid lane, those TPs are starting to hurt to not have. Lunacia versus Concept continues to not pay any dividends. But that dragon is going to pay out for FLYF down there, getting the stacking going for the early advantage.
And Lunacia's just been that rock in the top side. Very minimal CS deficit he finds himself in, and that's fine. Utility, it's there. I'm telling you, it's going to be impactful as long as he uses that ult well in these team fights. And now we have that dragon stacking option overall for FlyFam, who have been very quietly finding themselves at a bit of a gold lead.
They are. They actually have the Gale Force as well for Instinct now.
That's good.
Trying to take even more of these plates. Concept will actually TP bottom lane as the lane swap has been issued by Golden Guardians, trying to get a little bit more presence on this top side of the map.
Right, and getting that. Oh, Hyper.
Hyper might be in some trouble. The hands do go wide as the repel comes through. Rosethorn will step in and take the Gromp. Now they're looking at top side with this Rift Herald. Should be able to crash this and get first tower.
Really nice move. We see a lot of teams do this, and it's going to earn a lot of extra gold there for Golden Guardians, and specifically Array. That first turret bonus gold going over immediately evens the odds here for Golden Guardians Challengers.
Does indeed. And spotted out that everybody's up here on the top side as well. Really good response from Golden Guardians, and that's the decisiveness that you were kind of asking for FlyFam. But now we have the Kraken Slayer, that Gale Force completed on your ADCs. At least it's the first side of a spike here. I want to see them utilize this Kraken Slayer for Blaze a little bit more here to help Hyper.
At this point, Tristana being able to push waves so effectively and consistently means Blaze will get those opportunities, especially once this mid lane turret has gone down. But I like the focus on Instinct now that he's on this top side of the map, because one, plates are still up and available, and the fact is you have a Xayah who is already ahead and going to be a very strong carry late in the game. Support him.
You're getting Prismal Buster shotted back. As Young trying to hit that Paddle Star. The flash in, and Blaze, he'll go down to Young. That's first kill on the board for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt, but it was a good roam from Prismal. Lunacia, I mean, wants to come collect the wave.
He's getting baited by Prismal. He's like, I want to go in. I can do the damage. I know I can. But Prismal able to use his quick feet there. You also saw Young just had to burn his flash from the flash of Hyper, trying to get the engage on the mid lane. Array will be taking turret plates for the last couple seconds here, but can't get the last one before it goes out.
And that's a big deal, because Oh, wow. That's huge. So I want to talk about the gold difference. I want to see the gold difference between these players, because bot lane especially is interesting to me, because Array, I mean, the fact that he is 600 gold down now, considering all that bonus gold he got, means that Instinct was insanely ahead beforehand, and he still holds on to a lead, which is, we're seeing all this attention from FlyFam on their AD carry, and him being that player with a lot of experience at this level of play and above. It checks out, especially him being that leader for this roster, and with this gold lead, looking to lead them to a win.
We'll say that 1,000 gold lead for Blaze is definitely something to kind of hold in dear for FlyFam. It's just about how to use this little bit of a lead. Obviously, you're waiting on those 3-item spikes, really, for the double ADC comp to come online, but trying not to give up as many. I guess it's 2, maybe. I'd still say 3, though. Maybe in this situation for FlyFam, they want to try to get some real damage into these kind of hard-to-fight team fights here.
Blaze, very happy
wants
to build.
Take the tower there.
But the E doing damage onto...
Oh,
wait
my God,
a minute.
Array. He does have Prismal right around the corner. The barrier has been popped. We're getting Blaze on the wrong side of the map. He should be able to rocket jump. He almost has the Buster shot. He goes in onto Prismal. Should have the rest of the team here as well, as Golden Guardians have pulled the trigger on the Dangerous Grasp just to get FlyFam out of there. But it might be that they sprung the trap, and now Hyper is just squashed like the bug he is.
That's brutal. We're seeing more kills go over for Golden Guardians, and just in time for the Rift Herald spawning. That we're already starting to see a bit of a crumble here from FlyFam, where Golden Guardians, they're finding the catch-outs. They're making the moves to support their AD carry, because this draft, this comp, is about Array, most certainly, Zeri. So making sure that he doesn't die unnecessarily is a big part of that.
And I think we're just seeing that decisiveness really ring true for Golden Guardians. So far, at least, I think the early ideas were there for FlyFam. I'm still looking at this next come-ups, right? We have another dragon coming up for them. Maybe they can start stacking that one up. They're already bringing a lot of members down here, but that is something where they have to start gathering some of these leads a little bit more. They need to start getting a little bit more gold under Instinct and Blaze.
Right, and I like this move. Again, a lot of people here covering, being around Instinct, especially in time for this dragon to spawn. The problem is, 5v5, FlyFam don't have it right now. especially with that Rift Herald in Rosethorn's pocket. Very easy for him to drop it mid and then force FlyFam to have to answer that one here. The big thing is you got to take Array and Young out of the picture somehow as FlyFam, and you're all in isn't there yet.
Young looking for it, finds Hyper, gonna look for a Battlestar on the back end, but this will be the Dragon going over to Golden Guardians Challengers while FlyFam try to look at mid lane tower.
Hoping to get something for what they lost, but realistically, they aren't going to get much. In fact, Golden Guardians making sure they don't get anything. And that is important because you're not really trading for what you've lost. You're going to take some camps. Red buff is nice there for Instinct, but it's Golden Guardians now. They stop the Dragon stacking from the side of FlyFam. They slow things down all across the board, and that's only good for them.
Exactly. I think that's the biggest take home, at least at this early game so far. Now also a Rift Herald available to use, maybe looking to crash on this mid tower or even bot side of the map, but trying to unlock even more pressure for Golden Guardians to collapse around these objectives, I would say, is the goal when they have such a based composition.
Now I like this. Keeping Array on this bottom side, despite being out of that laning phase, to ensure he's part of turrets going down. So it's kind of the same goal for both of these teams here. Shadowing their AD carry, ensuring they get as much gold as possible. And for Golden Guardians, that includes the Rift Herald to potentially take down this tier 2.
One of the team beat down.
Yeah,
Rift Herald's
the
one of the
sixth
team.
member.
They actually do get this tier 2 tower as well. Huge stuff from Golden Guardians. Not much of that lead developed, but at least they do make the push. They're actually using the Nature's Grasp towards Hyper. He gets caught here. That's 3 members he has to repel. He should be able to survive after this one. Brisbane going to take a couple extra shots there on the way out, but they almost collapsed on Hyper again.
And that's confidence. The fact that they go in between turrets like that. Oh, hey.
Hey, Young. That's Young Alien right there. I can call him Young Alien because
you're cool with players, right?
Yeah, I'm cool with him, and I know him by his first name. No, we're seeing FlyFam actually trying to make one of those plays here with a TP to mid lane from Lunacia, and it won't be able to be pulled on.
And still Young, fishing for these bubbles with range. But shouldn't be. Oh,
nice
hey.
engage though. That's the cask as well. Young should go down here as well. You get the TP coming in a little bit late, but Concept has joined the fight. He's getting chunked though. Lunacia, here comes Array. He's not able to find that big engage. Nice cocoon is shut down. Goes to Hyper.
Wow, and that's a nice turn for FlyFam. Not only do they get the turret, but they go 2 for nothing on the engage, on the exit. And it's some much needed gold into their pockets here to allow them to catch up and get that lead they need. We're going to see it here again. Turret's real low, so they feel good about their chances. Funny story, Golden Guardians also feel good about their chances in this one. But the big thing is Lunacia using that exploding cask. Again, that displacement is so powerful in this type of team fight scenarios.
Yeah, nice little turnaround here, trying to be there at least. And it's really good, at least peel back from FlyFam for the most part. And then that turn around there around the corner, Hyper was waiting.
Yeah, I can just imagine the comms there too. You get that recall where Nectin is like one tap and you're like, whoa, wait a second. Why don't we turn that around a little bit? Quick little pick up on that next extra kill. Now, a minute 20 till the next Drake. Yeah, Baron is up. Oh, we're really just starting it? No, surely not.
Getting a little antsy here. Maybe that second item spike coming online for Instinct. The Navori Quick Blades makes a difference, but the IE completed over on the other side for Array. And a little bit of hesitancy from FlyFam, but I think that's a beautiful setup for Rosethorn. He's just going to continue to throw these saplings over and be oppressive.
And now, with that back off, it's going to be Golden Guardians who get that opportunity to clear vision out on their end here. They actually have an opportunity where if they want to bait the Baron into a fight, they could go for it, but it's a little early. Dragon's going to be up soon. They would rather focus their efforts on that here. That's why you see the vision going through, and then you see the recall starting to come out.
Right now, I know they're facing FLYF, but it's a turtle quest right now for Golden Guardians Challengers. They just want to stick all together, and they want to force the fam to do something about it.
And I mean, they have the turn. You have really strong ult with Rose Thorns, and you have the bubble from distance. And look at Concept. I think they just get this.
Yeah, it's just Young maybe finds it big engage with the Sleepy Troubles or the Paddle Stars. There's the Nature's Grasp back across. Hyper gets caught yet again, and those Nature's Grasp are just grasping the 8 legs of Hyper back onto the bear, and go Golden Guardians.
And now it's no longer a bait. The big purple worm is in for Golden Guardians Challengers, and you get a dragon in trade, but this is what Golden Guardians need to snowball this game that much further. It's an early power play coming through.
Nicely done from Golden Guardians to capitalize a little bit on that Nature's Grasp. They've been doing and fishing with the entire time, it feels like. Now, that response, nicely done from FLYF, as you said. 2 dragons now for their name, but now we'll look back at what happened.
And this is what we were talking about. You have that power to turn. You don't have to 50-50 it. And Concept just takes advantage of that position to be able to take out the jungler. And that's the only kill that matters here, Lennon. No smite means easy fight.
Now we get the Baron buff push from Golden Guardians. 2.5 minutes left on this one. They should take these towers easy in the mid lane. They're going to stack up like we know they want to, and look for these Sleepy Trouble bubbles for the evil octopi of Young.
That's right. And FLYF, their options for fights are pretty limited. As their comp is, you want to go for the all-ins, something like this Elise and Rakan, but you are kind of leaning more on picks nowadays.
Concept.
Concept.
Concept has found a flank. They don't have Blaze here yet, but Concept's going to look for Blaze in the transition. That Nature's Grasp did get blocked by Lunacia, and the defense actually comes through for FLYF.
Still a lot of Baron left to play with here. Now Golden Guardians are going to be going for these invades, taking camps away, and just continuing the advantage Rosethorn has over Hyper. And this is at least we're talking about. When you're in this position where your team is this far behind, it's so hard for you to play the game. You didn't snowball like you were hoping to.
Yeah. It's just throwing these saplings all over the place. Very difficult to deal with and even walk through your own jungle. And that's where Maokai, when you're in these kinds of controlling states, is just so oppressive. And this Golden Guardians team, when they get together, is so oppressive.
They're getting together all right, Lennon, as they take away the last tier 2 turret, the second last rather. And look at what the cost is to walk into the jungle here. This is a full AP Maokai, by the way. So these saplings were not on the patch where they got nerfed yet, so they hurt.
Yeah, I am looking now at Rosethorn going full on with that Leandries. He's going to be doing so much to the very squishy line of FLYF. As Lunacia will have that tank status there. He'll be the beefy body, but can he block all the saplings? It's going to feel like a zombie movie.
It's going to be tough. And you can see it again. Hyper and Sword, they're looking for any play that they can make. Get on top of somebody to be able to get an advantage on the map. And I like the attempt,
the double.
but it's tough. Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
Hey, you know, great minds think alike, Rosethorn and Prismal.
Yeah, there you go.
But I think that is the key, right? I love that these two guys are on our screen because the connection between Prismal and Rosethorn has been so incredible. And we talked about Prismal and his journey and the role swap to support playing with LCS last year and trying to bring some of that to the fold back on the Challenger roster here. It is crucial that the Rosethorn Prismal concept is there. Speaking of concept on the top side, but
I thought that's what you were trying to do.
No. It is the fact that this duo is so potent when they get on the map together.
Right. A big part of GGC's recent success, I mean, look at the record. They're 13-7, and early on in the split was not what was expected, especially with Young being that player with little experience before Challengers League, and of course the week he had in LCS. But now, especially in recent weeks, this is a roster where you can expect good performances come through in playoffs. And of course, the rest of the split, Golden Guardians are definitely going to turn some heads when we get to the playoffs.
We had some vision gain cleared out by FLYF here. As should just be that reset that came through for the majority of Golden Guardians. You did have at least that third item completed for Ray, the Runans. The team fight's going to be even more deadly. On the other side, you got Instinct complete the Bloodthirster. So at least you have even spikes for both primary ADCs.
Right, we talked about how that's important for Instinct, getting to that third item. And he's there now. So what's the damage going to look like? You got the first move as well to clear out a lot of vision in the river. And that's important, especially with that scuttle expiring as we speak. But we're 30 seconds away, and Golden Guardians can just push this next wave.
That was one sapling. Oh, Hyper.
That guy's very cool. I promise.
Yeah, very cool. I think we've settled the spiderling versus sapling debate now. The saplings win every single time.
Yep.
As they can't even defend their mid tower because of that kind of pressure and the zoning that Golden Guardians is using.
It's the timing, Lennon, that hurts so much. You want them to walk into you, but with 30 seconds,
they're going in. Paddlestar connects on a sword. You got a TP and panic from Lunacia. Hyper trying to get away, does use that belt. Lunacia still in the pit here. The rest of FlyFam circling around. This is sole point for FlyFam if they can get anything. As Young comes in, does land that sleepy trouble bubble. We'll see Golden Guardians hesitant to pull the trigger on the fight.
It's tough. You got two big teamfight tools out of the picture. It is enough for you to be concerned, but your wallets mean that FlyFam just have to walk away. And now Golden Guardians are at 2 dragons apiece and find themselves very firmly in control of this game.
Very strong position to be in for Golden Guardians Challengers.
Yeah.
And I think it's what they expected coming out of the draft. We saw a lot of that kind of flexibility, the double ADC comp, the hyper Elise, trying to focus a lot on that early game, get resources out, maybe even try to snowball a little bit. The Golden Guardians said, nah, we'll bear the brunt of that. We'll take our very sustained bot lane. We'll give Young something that can set up for us, and we'll look to Rosethorn to really dissuade any of that early aggression.
Now second Baron is on the map. Rosethorn just back to just honest work of a jungler, clearing, setting up vision so your team can just go for these objectives. And
Just wanted it back, man.
I mean, they got it off. Problem is,
Sword did it. Supports matter too, beatdown.
Do they?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cancelable.
Is it? I mean, I'm sorry if you're a support player. I appreciate you a lot. Totally.
Oh my god, the Sleeping Trouble Bubble has to be cleansed out of by Blaze. There's not much of an in for FlyFam. They're going to try to find Concept. That's the Baron already down. Hyper! He's locked down and Young gets the kill. Blaze! A double kill for Young, and the aliens are running rampant here for Golden Guardians. They might be able to find a little bit more. Flash from Prismal. Doesn't get that engage that he wanted. Flash from Lunacia gets him over that Sleepy Trouble Bubble. But my goodness, Golden Guardians are a storm front in this game.
Hey, you say that, but this game's about to end.
It's about to. That last tower in the mid lane will go down. Nice little double CC there. Should be the Baron push to the finality for this first game.
And wow, slow start for Golden Guardians. FlyFam had some good looks, but again, it's Golden Guardians who come out on top.
Man, it's like watching a little bit of a firework. The fuse is going down and down. You're like, when is it going to explode? All of a sudden it does.
Yep.
And you get a Golden Guardians Challengers victory.
And that is 1-0 so far in the series. I mean, an outcome we expected. And it was that question of how clean can Golden Guardians be in this matchup? And so far, Lennon, I think Mr. Cleanse would approve.
Mr. Cleanse would definitely approve. We'll see FlyFam's bounce back in game number 2. We're going to send it to a short break. We'll have a halftime bit with Magical after this.